Okay.
Hello, Professor.
Hello.
Welcome. Very happy to have you here.
Yes, nice to be with you.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, very well.
Okay,
Very well.
very
yes,
good.
we
I
can.
just I just have a few memories here, which I would like to present very shortly. Um, we developed here out of the critical theory of society of the Frankfurt School, our critical theory of religion and society. So we started shortly after the end of World War II. That was a long time ago. And I started it in Norfolk in a prisoner of war camp, where the first influences of the Frankfurt School, which wasn't called that way at that time, were already noticeable. At that time, the Allies thought that all Germans had been Nazis, but then the Frankfurt School and the New School convinced the Roosevelt administration that there may be some non Nazis. And so a program was established among the prisoners, 300,000 German prisoners and 100,000 Italian prisoners. They tried to select people who had been anti-Nazi. And so 25,000 Germans were selected and were trained in the ideas of the Frankfurt School in order to go back to Germany and transform the fascist state into a liberal state. So I was then also sent home, and I tried to apply the principles we had learned in Frankfurt at the Frankfurt University. I there heard Adorno and Horkheimer, and I also got in contact with the institute as it was rebuilt. It had been bombed out by American Air Force, and so it was rebuilt with money from Frankfurt and also from other sources. And I worked on it also in Mainz. I participated in the foundation of the Christian Democratic Union in Hessen with Walter Dirks and Eugen Kogon. And we wanted to have a party in which workers and Christians would be together and work together. But then came the Adenauer restoration. And so then the workers left the Christian Democratic Union, and it became a party of Catholics and Protestant bourgeoisie. And we tried then at least to keep a left wing in the Christian Democratic Union, which then established social laws, which were very progressive, and some of them are still preserved today. The development of the critical theory of religion and society found expression in over 30 books and over 500 articles. The development has been summed up in our recent publication, The Evolution of the Critical Theory of Religion and Society, Union, Disunion, and Reunion of the Sacred and the Profane from 1946 to 2020 here at the Western Michigan University. In developing the critical theory of religion, we used the theorizing patterns of Horkheimer, Benjamin, and Adorno, Fromm, and Marcuse. We received from Horkheimer and Adorno the dialectical method, what they call determinate negation, and they had received this method of determinate negation from Hegel's phenomenology of mind and science of logic. So we went through the Frankfurt School also back to the great tradition of Kant and Hegel and Fichte and others. And so they also received from Marx and Engels and Lenin not an idealistic notion dialectic, but a materialistic reality dialectic. In our critical theory of religion, we try to combine Hegel's notion dialectic and Marx's reality dialectic. Historical idealism superseded in historical materialism. In the critical theory of religion, we returned to classical dialectics of critical and traditional In contrast to positivism, for us, critical thinking was concerned with contradictions or antagonisms in personality, family, civil society, state history, and culture, in art, religion, philosophy, and science. We were concerned with the fundamental contradiction between the private appropriation of collective surplus labor and its consequences throughout the social system as discovered by political economics. With the critical theorists from Horkheimer and Adorno to Habermas and Hanneth, we reached below the Hegelian system to the fundamental human potentials on which it was built. While we held on with Marx, Horkheimer, and Adorno to the evolutionary universal of work and tool, we also emphasized with Habermas the human potential of language and memory, and with Hanneth, the evolutionary universal of the struggle of recognition. We did not neglect the issue of class struggle and distribution problems, but we paid also attention to identity politics and policies concerning gender, race, generation, religious, and environmental problems. The social democracies in Europe and in America lost the workers in recent years because they neglected the class issue in favor of the cultural identity problems. Our most recent book is entitled Inclusive and Exclusive Identity, Politics and Policies, the dialectic of right and left in the religious and the secular sphere. In the view of the critical theory of religion, while the national and international inequality has increased in the 21st century, neo-Marxism has lost the critical power, particularly through distraction by identity problems and consequent disunion and disintegration. New concentration of the resolution of the political economic core problem of private appropriation by the few of the collective surplus value produced by the many. I founded a course in Yugoslavia on the future of religion, and there was in contact with the socialists in Yugoslavia. And Yugoslav management socialists lost the counter-revolutionary civil war in which I participate, which cost the lives of 200,000 people, instigated by Germany, the CIA, and the Vatican through mobilization of ethnic rivalries after they had forgotten to pay attention to the surplus value problem. When I once mentioned it, also people from Moscow were astonished that I was still talking about surplus value, but that was a signal that the revolution was lost. In the view of the critical theory of religion, post-colonial theorizing may open the next stage of the critical theory if it does not lose itself to identity politics and policies and includes the class and distribution and retribution problems. Slaves, serfs, and free workers must claim the pay of their unpaid labor beyond their wages. In the view of the critical theory of religion, in the present post-secular civil society, the critical theory may very well become anti-constructionist in order to be able to concentrate more emphatically on the surplus value issue from which it started in the first place and with which it lives or dies. According to the critical theory of religion, the emancipation utopia, which can be derived from the current capitalism surplus value issue, is postmodern alternative future 3. That is what we call it, a reconciled society based on the collective appropriation of collective surplus labor. These are the few things I just wanted to contribute, and maybe we can discuss it a little bit.
Thank you very much, Professor Siebert.